Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Jan Roberts from sunny South Africa, and I'm going to talk a little bit more into self-care. Like yesterday, I did about 15 minutes to talk about the basics of self-care, really what self-care is and why we should take care of ourselves, really. Now, I know it's fairly obvious to most people, but do you really know how to take care of yourself, and are you really on a daily basis taking care of the most important person in your life, and that's the person looking in the mirror every day? Yes, you got it, you. Now, what I said yesterday was that I was going to explain a little bit about self-care, and then every day this week I would come back and talk into self-care and some of the specific aspects like sleeping habits, stress, eating habits, exercising, and all those kind of things. So hopefully by the time I'm done, you at least get a basic idea of self-care, what you can do to look better after yourself. Because as I said yesterday, if there was ever a time that we really needed to, we need to do it all the time, but if there was ever a time that we really needed to start looking after ourselves, is now. I mean, a year after having so much fear, so much anxiety, so much depression, so many things, negative emotions going on, which really, what they do is obvious to yourself already, but what they really do underneath as well is your inside, your immune system is going down rapidly by all these negative emotions and the frustrations and what's going through your head. It really affects, what happens in your mind affects your body. That's why we're going to talk more holistically about not only the physical aspects, but also the mental and spiritual aspects of self-care. But today, as I said yesterday, we're going to talk about eating habits. And you are what you eat. How healthy eating habits will lead to a healthier lifestyle. Now, again, that might be fairly obvious, but your diet is a major part of self-care. And it's an aspect you really should take much more attention, pay much more attention to and take care of. So when you ask people about the foods that make them feel good, you get answers like a juicy steak. Now, don't get me wrong, a juicy steak makes me feel good as well. Or a large burger dripping with cheese, a serious helping of lasagna. All three of them I love, by the way. And I make a pretty darn good lasagna myself, if I may say so. But also extremely delicious desserts, cakes, chocolates. You know, you get the idea. It is not necessarily health foods, and most of it is not, even chocolate, because people say, well, chocolate is good because it comes from the chocolate bean, and the chocolate bean is the cocoa bean, the chocolate bean, not the chocolate bean. The cocoa bean is of course, a health item, if you like, grown in nature. But if you consistently indulging in these delicacies, is not self-care. You might feel good, it might be a feel-good food, but it's certainly not self-care. And if you don't believe me, go and watch. It's a long time ago now, and I don't remember the guy who did the program, Michael, I can't remember, but go and look for Super Size Me. That's a program where somebody over a month, every day, morning, noon and night, even though he was very healthy beforehand, took fast food for every meal. And by the end of the 30 days, he was pretty unwell, to say the least. But go and have a look at it, watch that video to get a good idea of what it will do for you. Now, that is what happens when you consistently eat the wrong kinds of food. Now you say, what is the wrong kinds of food? Well, I'm not saying you can never eat fast food, go to a fast food restaurant, eat a microwave dinner or indulge, but everything in moderation, of course. That doesn't mean 5 times a week. No, once in a blue moon, if you do this, it's up to you. But the more you can eat holistic, healthy, proper foods that give you nutrition, the better you will feel. Maybe not initially, but the better you will feel long term. Now, healthy, nutritious food are one of nature's best gifts to us. Now, so you make it a habit of consuming good, nutritious food that build your body instead of processed foods full of letters, numbers and chemicals that are destructive to your well-being. We're always quick to judge others when we, for unhealthy habits, and especially at these times for not complying to government health guidelines. We all know what I'm talking about. For example, in the supermarket, of course. When really we should have a much closer look to what we have placed already in our trolleys or what we're about to add to it. And then ask ourselves how healthy our diet is. See, of course, I'm talking about people walking into, they've made a decision, the conscious decision, either to wear a mask or not wear a mask. I don't want to go into whether the rights are wrong, but everybody's made a decision on what they believe with the information they've received. But then, of course, people start all this kind of things. But we really need to ask, are we not ever so slightly hypocritical when we judge others on matters regarding health, even bully or make derogatory remarks and comments, while we do not practice what we preach? Yes, and that's it. Because, and I've heard it already, if somebody calls you names because you don't comply, let's put it that way, then walk over to their trolley and have a look in there and see how well they are doing with their health. See, self-care, this is a very reason why self-care begins at home. You know, what part did you not get? Self-care. So it begins with self. And there are so many amazing benefits from healthy eating, while this is often overlooked. And it's often overlooked for a variety of reasons. Now, one of them is, oh, I have no time. For what? Your health? You know, so you're stressed out, you're eating on the run, or often forget to eat at all. How good is that for you? People often, they spend all their time earning money and doing if they still can, to spend it on indulgence, on all this fast food because of their no time, and yet eventually they have to spend all that money on their health because their health declines. So no time should never be an excuse for regularly not eating properly. And then, but you know, that kind of food doesn't taste good. Well, it's mostly an excuse because of what we're used to. We are used to convenient food, and so our taste buds can change, and they do change, but we need to give it a chance. And healthy foods don't have to be ugly like Brussels sprouts, and you hate Brussels sprouts and all that kind of stuff. Healthy food is absolutely delicious if you know how to prepare it. And then we talk about, you know, it's so convenient, you know, ping dinners, takeaways, and as I said, everything in moderation. But don't do that all the time. And don't teach your children those bad habits of eating. I've seen families where they make 3 different dinners for the kids because this one doesn't like that and this one doesn't like that. Now, we need to learn these habits. As a kid, if you're a bit older, you know all about this. You eat what's on your plate. You get one choice, you eat what's on your plate. Now it wasn't force feeding, but it taught us the habits of learning to eat most things. Do I like everything? No, of course not. But I eat and like most things, and that's because I was taught, because my parents realized that it was very important for me to learn to eat healthy, wholesome foods. My mother comes from a farming background, so you can just imagine how much of the healthy food they ate. Hard-working, healthy eaters. So, convenience should not be an excuse either. And then the children won't like it. Of course they won't like it because they don't try it. They've never tried it. So, start early with your children. And also take some time. I overheard a discussion between Arthur and a few other people this week, my amazing partner, and she said, you know, it is so wonderful if you get your children. She watches videos of I can't remember the guy's name, foodie. She's a foodie as well, so she watches videos of a guy who has his little daughter preparing foods with him, and it's amazing. But little children, if you start getting them involved in the preparation of the food and start explaining this kind of stuff to them, and you know, when you get them engaged, you get a lot more buy-in. That works with adults and that works with children at the same time. But start early and get them involved. But it's never too late, and it's never too late for you to be the example in your family and start eating healthier. And health food is expensive is another thing I hear all the time. No, we're looking at these health food stores where they are, different things of course are more expensive, but compared to what? First of all, your health? Healthy food isn't expensive. What happens when your health suffers over time because of bad eating habits? Do you think that's cheap? medical bills from diabetes, heart problems, closed arteries, overweight and other restrictions because of your health. How expensive are those? So are we making excuses so we don't have to eat, have a healthy eating habits, have a healthy lifestyle? Or can we just say, hold on a minute, this needs to change? Because self-care is indeed important. Now, your dietary needs and eating habits are a very important part of self-care. It's not the only thing, but it's something that we can change just like that. But make a list. Here, this is a suggestion for me. Before I leave this subject, make a list of all you eat. Then look at its health benefits. And when you become aware of your dietary consumptions on a daily basis and a weekly basis, you might get a fright, but you might well have to make some important lifestyle choices. And they are very important. So your health is important to you. So I think it is time to choose wisely. Now, eventually I'm gonna do a whole webinar on self-care, but I want to just give you a little bit of an insight in the necessities and the benefits of eating healthy as part of a self-care program. I'm going to talk about putting a program together, a self-care program, a personal growth plan, which all kind of fits together, but we need to learn to take care of ourselves better. And one of the things, as I said today, and I hope it drives it home at least a little bit and make you think, one of the things is your eating habits. How well are you eating? How much can you change to become healthier just by eating better foods? And as I said, everything in moderation. So I don't say don't eat any more potato chips, don't eat any more deep fried foods, and don't eat any more whatever fast food, but everything in moderation. But let that be moderation, and let you deliberately, intentionally start working on you and your family's well-being by start eating healthier. You can't put a price on that, and certainly don't wait until it's too late. I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to talk about your physical health tomorrow. So take care, have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Take care.